Hallelujah.
Good evening, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy to see the new bulletin. I'm very excited about it. The flags around the bottom here.
Sorry, brother. There we go.
Does the regular one work okay? Does the regular one work? Yeah, it's on. Okay, just as I was saying, I really appreciate the work that the gentlemen have done with this new bulletin. It's like a fresh breath of air, and I love new things. I love to see people on fire for the Lord. And the ministry team, the overseer being Jesus. Oh, that really grabs me. I like that. The New Life class still going strong. Excellent. It's very interesting that the pastors here asked my wife and myself to do the youth ministry, and we took that as a challenge. We love to do new ground. When we first got saved, they must have, I guess it was Pastor Stuart Hunter up in Bethel Pentecostal in Ottawa. They looked at us and they thought, new people on fire for the Lord. We'll get them employed pretty soon.
Yes,
And after about a year or two, you won't believe all this stuff. We lived almost every night at church. We had 3 sons and 1 daughter. And my wife had those children so, what's the word, controlled or disciplined. I think we amazed. We'd go to Friday night prayer, and there'd be all these nice, I don't want to really call them senior citizens, but, you know, praying saints, that's good. And we'd bring our 4 little tiny kids in with coloring books. They would sit down one end of the prayer, everybody else would be here. And from time to time, I'd watch the senior pastor's eyes and he'd look over those kids. How come they're not making a noise? This is strange. And he'd look over, and I guess because they were just childly interested in coloring books and stuff, they were quiet. They were okay. It was absolutely amazing experience. And I've done along quite well with all of the pastors there. I remember the first pastor was Pastor Keith Higgins, and he used to be a computer expert before he got saved, before he went into ministry. And I took the New Life class all the way through, but I had a lot of hard questions for him. And I said, I'd like to repeat this class again. I want to go through and maybe give you a little bit harder time, because I wanted to challenge the New Life leader with all my, questions and so on. But that's just a little tiny perspective. I made a mistake today, and I forgot to read that it said the evening speaker was Brother Tom Brooks. So what I did was did a quickie here on a piece of paper and a nice outline, and what I think I probably might do is continue on in this camp meeting type of atmosphere where we can give testimony to God for how He's worked in our lives.
Amen.
And this is the chance to do it, to say, God, thank you for being there at that time. Thank you for watching me over at that time, and so on and so on. So we have a lot to be thankful for. Just before I get going here, I think I'll get into the scripture first. Matthew 7, it's verse 13, 14. And in my Living Bible, God was really good to me. As soon as I got saved up in Bethel Church, 3 blocks away from where I worked on 110 O'Connor Street was the Canadian Bible Society. I just walked down 3 blocks, went inside, and looked at the reduced section. This Bible was there for $9.95.
Yes!
Guess what's in it? The old King James on one side and the Living on the other.
Yes.
And anybody that knows the Living, it's like a Bible college in that right paragraph, because you have no idea how it elucidates the old King James. It's absolutely incredible. I've got many places here noted where the Living Bible really brings out and when a power punch of what the old King James is saying. So many scriptures here, so I'm able to use that to talk to these people. Another thing we did early on up in Ottawa was God allowed these Jehovah Witness people at work at Export Development to come to me and sometimes debate with me or talk to me at lunch hour, and we would do study from his Bible, study from my Bible, and so on and so on. So I was always doing things with the Bible and learning at the same time. So it was a lot of fun. But let's look at Matthew 7, just as a framework to get going. Matthew 7:13 says, "Heaven can be entered only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad, and its gate is wide enough for all the multitudes who choose its easy way." That was my life before I came to Christ right there, the broad road to destruction. "The gateway to life is small, and the road is very narrow." And this is the phrase that really affects me even today. Only a few ever find it. I look at that, and I look at that, and I look at that, and I almost just start to cry. Because that is sad when you know what Jesus has done for you, what he's prepared for us. He's prepared a place in heaven, and few want that pathway. They just don't want to consider it. They want to do it my way. And many times we've talked about Frank Sinatra singing that song, "I did it my way." But that way really leads to destruction.
Amen.
And so on. But that basically, before I came to Christ, that's where I was heading. I was with everybody else. I don't know how far back I should go. Probably to Hamilton. I spent 17 years in a company called Firestone Tire and Rubber. And God had sent 3 people to bombard me with the Bible.
Yes.
They gave me the book called The Great Planet Earth, I think it was The Great Late Planet Earth by Hal Lindsey. And they would drop other stuff on my desk and tell me that I should become born again. And I would usually argue with them and tell them that, well, I don't want to say this because it's not very nice, but I would intimate to them that they're all losers, that I don't need this, that that's a crutch for you people. You know, I was trying to tell them that it's a weakness to become a Christian. And I was saying that the way I'm doing it is the happy way, because the way I was doing it was a rebel rouser, party goer, boozer, you name it. If it was that type of life, you counted me in all the time. Don't really want to get into the shenanigans I was involved in Firestone, but I was involved in quite a few. Some of it had to do with alcohol.
Made, right?
It was great. Pardon?
You burn your hand at me.
Well, actually, it's funny that you say that, because I was in charge of all the vices, really. I was in charge of purchasing all the lottery tickets, and one day we came up one number short for winning the big one. So that day there was a snowstorm. I took off my little Volkswagen notchback down to Toronto. We weren't even supposed to drive on the road, got our $1,000, split it 10 ways, and we each got $100. And we just missed the big one by one number. But I was into a few other things like selling records and getting free records and selling Christmas booze and all that. And the timing was unbelievable. Sometimes I would buy this stuff for them, bring it in, and then there was a snowstorm. And I can remember one night